if you had just discovered a Bhakti guru living in Vrindavan or somewhere in India or something like that, in a traditional context, they would have just met with you and said, let's see where you're at. Let's see, okay, so one person they're going to advise, walk away from everything. This is the time in life that you should do that. And chant 64 rounds a day and read Bhagavatam the whole rest of the day and don't do anything else, and I'm going to see to it that you get the food that you need and you get the hut to live in and you're going to be just fine. And someone would just walk away from everything. And another person say, oh, stay in your family, take care of your family, but install a deity in your home, make the deity the center of your home, go to work, be responsible socially and in terms of your family, do all of that. And you're going to have time to chant, I think, 8 good rounds a day. That's what I want you to do. I also want you to read Bhagavatam for half an hour a day. And then you would do that for some time, and then they would reevaluate that with time. And in this way, they'd be tailoring a bhakti sadhana practice for you. So that's what you need. Whatever it is, that's what you need. And you need it in a way that it's always moving forward, so that that you're always taking that next step. You're always aware of, mastering the step that you're at, going deep, as what Raghunath was saying, do less but do it better. Doing better what you do, and then you'll see that you'll start to want to chant more yourself, and Krishna will change things in your life in ways that you never knew would happen. So we need to find you like a good bhakti sadhana for you to practice. A good amount of japa that you're going to chant. We need to make sure that you're reading and learning, and absorbing yourself in these texts. We need to make sure that you're getting good association somehow or other. Even if you live really isolated, we have our sage groups and things like that now. We need to make sure that you have some time in the holy places. That'll be a huge game changer in your life, and you're doing that right now. So like if there needs to be a little daily ritual in your life, we need to find a way that works for you. And in this way, you take the most potent practices of bhakti and you make them a part of your life wherever you are right now, wherever you're at. And you're not worried that, oh, I'm not chanting 16, so I'm not worthy, I'm bad, that we need to understand that's not, I'm not initiated. We need to understand what these terms mean and how they're coming down. But let's find you a good practice, and let's get you practicing that better and better. And then at a certain point, it's going to come from you. I want to do more. Then we're going to figure out, hey, what's the next thing for Claire?
That's really helpful.
And that never ends.
Yeah.
It's not like now I've chanted 16 rounds. Now I'm initiated. Now I'm complete. The cup is full. It's not like that. Where you are now to where you are then to where you are 10 years from there, you'll always fear, how can I add more? How can I refine? How can I polish? Guess what? I've got some great news for you. You want to join the club? You don't have to wait. You're in the club right now.
Woo-hoo.
Okay? Woo!
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Jaipur, Rajasthan, India, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a Bhakti Yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York City, Kaustubha. Welcome to the show. It is Thursday, November 6th, 2025. It's episode 1693. Good morning, beautiful people. How are you, Kaustubha?
I'm okay.
We just got caught in a little Jaipur traffic. I wish I lived here 200 years ago. 200 years ago. It would have been so incredible just to see India back then.
Even 100 years ago.
Now we're caught up in the noise, the cacophony that is modern day India, but still we're charmed. We went to see Govindaji today, and
Wonderful.
I tell you, we circumambulated the temple. Then we walked in the little line where you get a good front darshan of the deity. And then we just waited in the back. And there must have been 60 people, men and women, probably 40 to 60 years old, probably young ones too, just chanting these bhajans I've never heard of, a cappella, no musical instruments, but all singing together. There was one guy who was probably like their version of me, You know what I mean? Just like directing, like almost like Zubin Mehta, the Philharmonic, just like conducting everybody to sing, and everybody was singing so joyfully. It's like, okay, this is what Bhakti Yoga is. They're aiming all their attention, all their intention at these deities, and they're so in love with Radha and Krishna. You see it in their heart, like they're so joyful. Where do you find grown adults? I looked at Mike Stone. I was like, you don't see anything like this in America with a bunch of grown men that are not intoxicated out of their mind. He goes, no. He goes, look at their faces. They're not worried about their 401k. They're not worried about their position. They're not worried about, their corporate life or their in the work. They're just here presently singing. And I tell you, to bring people to Rajasthan, to see their devotion in their hearts, it really sort of like rubs off on everybody witnessing. And then we just let it go. We just watched them. We didn't do anything. We just sort of stood there. I couldn't quite understand all the lyrics, but Janeshwar was translating it, something like, the cowherd boy is coming to town, and something like that. And he's got his flute, and Nandalala's little boy, and they kept on repeating, Nandalala's little boy. And it just went on like that forever, and they were in so much joy that we just let the whole thing go for like 20 minutes. And then they stopped, they closed the curtains, and we're like, okay, you know what? Now let's us chant. So I think in a moment, after the show's over, I'll post something from today. But we just had this, it was great. It was like part 2. The Americans come to town. We do the basic, Govinda Jaya Jaya. They lose their mind. They all jump in a big, 45-year-old woman mosh pit and dance around in their saris. And it was just like blissful. Our people are dancing. Their people are dancing. There's no more like barriers between age, gender, economic status. Like, I tell you this, we even had a transgender, right? It was obvious. That was a man, right? It was a man in a sari spinning around. It's like, there's room for everyone here at the table. Come here, dance, sing. We don't care. You want to be transgender? Great. Do that. But all of us are Krishna Das. We're all here, the servants of Radharani, the servants of Krishna. We don't care what you do in this world. You can be a teacher, an educator, whatever you are. But here we are as all singing Krishna's glories. That's our eternal identity. And it was just so damn sweet. And we're back.
Good for you. Wonderful.
Good. If you're listening to the show new, it's Q&A day. It's Meet the Pilgrims. We have some new pilgrims you haven't met. We're continuing on, and it's the last one, the show we're going to have before the pilgrimage ends, because it ends on the 11th. So we will have a show on the 11th, but most of the pilgrims will be leaving. There's just a handful that's staying on with me and Mara and Tarun. So this was the last one with the whole group here. Mara, you have any announcements for today?
Yeah, I have a couple of announcements. Our next week we'll have a show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday again, but it'll be an hour later. It'll be 6 a.m. Eastern time.
6 a.m. You guys get to sleep in.
And we keep on mixing it up. And then also this Sunday with the Bhakti Center, the Urban Devi, there's an Urban Devi meeting, and that's 11 to 12:30 this Sunday. And the speakers are dear Kishori Gopi.
Oh, yeah.
Reawakening to Divine Love.
All right. Kaustubha, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. You good? You good
Yeah.
over there? Your last day at Kartik was nice?
It was very nice. You know what I did? I went to, I'm going to try to make a nice little video, but I got invited to go to the Kadamba Cafe, in Brooklyn. Essentially, it's like
how
the
is it?
restaurant at the
How
Brooklyn
is it?
Temple. That place was unbelievable. I mean,
Really?
it blew my mind. Mary, you should check that place out.
I'd love to.
It's very
let's go.
creative menu there. Very
Really?
colorful.
Give me an
bursting with
example.
flavor. I can't even tell you what it was. Like what they recommended for me was like this. It was like this bluish, thick, almost like a brudge roti kind of thing. And then on top of that, they had burrata and sweet potatoes and there was just all kind of stuff on there. Then it even had like pomegranate seeds in there.
Who's
It
the
was
chef
like
back there?
it was like tons of flavors and a really nice place. Really nice place.
Who's the chef?
The chef is a god sister of mine from Australia. Oh, unfortunately, her name is slipping my mind right now. I want to say
Okay, but
Madhu,
they've got They got
I'm
a good
sorry?
chef in there. It's all about the good chef.
She's
that's great.
excellent. She told me. She came out. She said hello to me, and she said, "Well, I'm just trying to follow our guru's order." And I said, "Well, what was his order?" And she said, "He told me to take prasadam to the next level." I said, "Well, you've done it here. I've never seen anything like this before."
So
You know.
nice.
So anyway, Tara and I went out there yesterday, and it was. I'm glad I finally saw the place. It's relatively new, but it's a really nice place. Kadamba Cafe. Check it out. Check it out online.
Okay. And if you guys want to come a little closer, because I know it's hard to hear, just come closer. So who's our first cue from?
Let's get Allison Sheehan up here.
Allison Sheehan. Allison Sheehan has been a wonderful, pleasant. Oh,
I'm over you.
what am I doing?
Scoop.
I'm in the middle. Okay.
Yesterday.
Okay. Just
And I'll just scooch in.
instead of crossing me over, cross a microphone over. Hi, Allison. How are you?
Great.
We found out that Allison is neighbors. She lives in East Greenbush, and dedicated yogi. I can't remember how we met again. Now that I've known you here, I was like, how long have I known you? For years?
Well,
For a
remember I
decade?
came to the kirtan and then
Oh, yeah.
I forgot the words and laughed this summer.
Oh, sorry.
It was fine.
You
I
didn't
mean,
know,
I thought it was okay.
you went to kirtan.
Yeah.
How did you hear about the kirtan? Let's get back from
Okay. I'm shout out Bobby Marchand and
Okay.
Kaylee Lalita.
Okay,
That's how I
you know
said
both of them, and Cody. Okay, and they said go to kirtan.
Cody said we're having a kirtan. Why don't you come over?
Nice,
So I said, yeah.
nice. And you didn't know the words, so you're like, I can't do this.
I did know the words. My mind went blank.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the ride home, I chanted it all the way home to like prove to somebody that I knew the words.
I do know the words. I do. Well, and you just said like I want to go to India, or did you have a background in Bhakti? What was your
Okay.
thing?
I worked at a Bhakti studio for about 6 years.
Mm.
And I'm a Kundalini teacher.
Okay.
And my teacher incorporates a lot of Bhakti musicians in our trainings, retreats. And in 2019, I got real cracked open at one of the sessions, but Govindas. And
Govindas, yeah.
yeah. And he said, "Do you want to talk?" And I said, "No, I don't have anything to talk about. I just got in there.
Wow.
Felt great."
Beautiful.
And I decided to go on pilgrimage because I always wanted to come to India, but I didn't want to sit in a retreat center for 10 days.
Right. I hate that. I hate when you go, okay, I want to go see things. That's why I like this pilgrimage, because we got 2 weeks and we're getting a lot of ground covered,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, a lot.
Like we're in a completely different place than where we were 3 days ago.
Right.
It's like a whole different mood to be here in the deserts of Rajasthan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
How can we and what's your best experience so far, if you had to pick one?
That first bath in Dev Prayag.
Oh yeah. It's a special place.
So I came on the pilgrimage. I had 2 confirmations. I was at a Kundalini retreat, and I didn't want to be there because I had started chanting Hare Krishna. I had started listening to the podcast and felt like, I'm cheating.
Right.
And I was like keeping it secret from my teacher. And then I talked to her, and she goes, "Well, who are you connected with?" And I said, "Raghunath." She goes, "Oh, I love Raghunath."
Aw. Who's that?
Kia Miller.
Oh, I love Kia Miller.
Who doesn't? Everyone loves Kia Miller.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And Tommy Rosen.
Rosen.
Yeah, I've known them for 25 years practically.
Yeah. And then, so I felt good about that. And then I was walking home with another beautiful gentleman. And I said, "Oh, I feel good. Like I just talked to Kia about Bhakti." And he goes, "Well, my teacher, Raghunath." I said, "All right, I'm going to sign up when I get home."
All right, perfect.
Yeah. So, is it Joshua Love? He went
Oh,
to
yeah.
Tibet with you.
Yeah, I went to Nepal with us. How do you know how do you know them from Alaska and then Kia from LA?
I've trained.
And you
with
live in East Greenbush?
I've trained with Kia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good people. I'm glad you're hanging with me now. I like you.
I like you too.
Yeah, I like her, and you live close. We can hang a lot.
And I'm a Capricorn,
And your when's your birthday?
January 12th.
It's the 11th.
I know.
Right. And Makunika Shores is the 10th.
That was
Makunika
almost a
Shores is
Christian
the
miracle
10th.
right there.
Right.
It is. It is. We got we got two more. We got like a full house here.
A lot of,
The straight.
yeah.
Okay, let's get on with the question. This is great, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Well, I'm an other, and I guess my question's, I know probably what the answer is going to be, but I'm asking for the others, others. So I've been really had a lot of deep healing from grief through the Kundalini practice for over 10 years, and but then last summer I hit a rough patch. I just wasn't feeling like I belonged and struggling with surface friendships, or they revealed themselves as a little surface, feeling really lonely. So I started listening to the podcast, and that's why I started chanting Hare Krishna every morning. And then I went to the retreat. But so what I asked my teacher was like, can I be doing both? Because this is supporting me in another way that I didn't expect. So I guess, is it okay to utilize what works and to incorporate it in an existing practice? Yeah, that's it.
When you say both, what do you mean both? Bhakti and
Well, I have a pretty strong practice with Kundalini, a lot of more breath work, and then kind of sitting in stillness. And that's really, and well, of course, holding my arms up over my head for 30 minutes. So I can hit a stagnation point with that where it's not really benefiting me anymore. So this is where I brought in, and really the 6 pillars, just to kind of reframe how I was operating
Wow.
in relationships.
okay.
Because Stu, when I hear stuff like that, I feel like, why not? Like, why not? For the most, unless it's something that's diametrically like, I really like being a butcher, but I want to chant Hare Krishna. You know what I mean? Can I use both those passions towards? It doesn't seem like it's something that's really it's not diametrically opposed to what we're doing. If we see the goal as Krishna Bhakti and all those things are supporting it. For example, I did jujitsu for years. In one sense, it had nothing to do with developing love of Krishna, but it satisfied a part of my physical body, or being a father. It satisfies part of who I am as a person, or being married, and it satisfies. But does it really have anything to do with spiritual evolution? In one sense, no. But also, I'm an embodied spirit soul, and we have to deal with the body that we have. And if we completely sometimes cut ourselves from things that are connected with this world, actually, not sure if there's the best analogy, because I'm not saying this Kundalini doesn't have some spiritual effect on you, but I guess this is another question that someone could ask. Can you still do those things and still feel connected with Bhakti? I would say yes, but if you're feeling like, no, this is good for stilling my mind, like sometimes before I chant japa, I'll do pranayam. Or so if it's something that can be used in tandem with Bhakti and really assist your mind to find some peace and be still, and you're getting something that's assisting you through your mantra meditation, your sonic meditation on God, then I say by all means, go for it.
And I will, because I'm defiant.
Because you're defiant?
Little defiance in me.
Oh. Kaustubha, how would you answer?
Of course, any practice that you like to take part in is encouraged. I suppose there's one verse that comes early in the Bhagavatam in the 2nd canto. It says, "Akama, sarvakamova, mokshakama udaridi, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param." It's saying that wherever you're coming from, whatever your desire, you could say your goal is, it's recommended that you practice bhakti. So, and the way that it's kind of using these standard Vedantic categories, like akama, means I have no material desires. And sarvakama means I'm full of material desires. And mokshakama means I'm looking for liberation from this, from the entanglements of this world. And it's saying, well, an intelligent person will practice bhakti, whatever their goals are. It's going to be beneficial. So if your question is it all right if I'm kind of, you see, I don't know your motive, your purpose, let me say it that way. Like your purpose for practicing, you're saying Kundalini yoga. Is that correct? I got that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because like some people are practicing that, I suppose, just because they want to get healthy. And some people are practicing that because they want peace of mind. And some people may be practicing that because they feel it might lead to experiencing the true nature of the self, right? Like I'm beyond this body, I'm beyond this mind, and I really want to feel who I am and what I am and connect with that eternal nature of who I am, and so on. So, and you're saying I'm doing this, and is it also all right if I appreciate these bhakti practices? It's given me some peace of mind. It's helped me feel better, and so those are all
Yeah.
great things. If that's what you're finding. Now, that being said, the teachers of the tradition of bhakti yoga coming down for thousands of years are going to say there's much more, right? Because even if you get some peace of mind, even if you get some well-being, which this does offer, even if you get that, the way that this world works is that it goes up and down and up and down and up and down all the time. So still wiser is to transcend this realm entirely and fully experience the nature of who you are. When you discover that, you'll discover that in relation with the root of your existence, which is there in a personal form of Krishna, and you have by constitution a relationship with that soul of the universe, and you can rediscover that. So if this bhakti is giving you some peace of mind, great. And if it's giving you some material well-being, that's wonderful too. But then they would say, but don't stop there. You're on the cusp of something really incredible. So try to understand it more. Try to really understand what it's all about, and you'll see. At one point, you'll be like, I don't care if I have material well-being or not. I don't care if I have peace of mind or not. I want this, and that becomes like one's focus goal. So, on a social level, of course, come and take part, and if you're finding some well-being through it, absolutely wonderful. But try to still go deeper, and try to understand just how deep it goes, and I think you'll find it to be very wonderful.
Thank you. That's
Beautiful.
Thank you,
super
Allison.
helpful.
Harry,
Yeah. Oh.
great having you on this trip. You really add a lot, and we really appreciate having you. She's sweet, isn't she?
Yeah, we like her.
Who we got?
Let's get Alyssa next. Since she's
Alyssa,
standing.
come on down. You're standing.
Come on.
Come on down. Sit closer. Get in the frame. We're gonna cut Mara out of the frame. Now, Alyssa, interestingly enough, had no idea what she was getting into. Now you got to talk right into this microphone.
Okay, yeah, I did have no idea what I was getting into. Zeb is one of my teachers, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to India with Zeb. That was about it.
That was about it. And he's like, you should really listen to the podcast, find some background stuff, and she's do a little bit of due diligence. I don't think she did any, but so she had a very poignant question. I said, who's got questions today? She goes, I got a really simple question. You want to shoot?
What is Bhakti?
There you go. There you go. She said at dinner or lunch you said, well, how would you say Bhakti for dummies? I like that because it encourages people to ask the most fundamental questions. Sometimes people are like, I don't want to ask such a dumb question, but that's a great question actually. Okay, Kaustubha, you want to go first? How would you explain it to a layman? A New York City cop, or someone who just has never heard of anything esoteric and just wants to know, what are you guys doing? What's this about?
The word bhakti is going to be used in different ways. There's a section in the book, The Journey Within, It comes early in that book, and there it kind of just breaks down the different ways that the word is used. Because I would say most essentially it's this. It's that you have all the. Sometimes when we say bhakti, we're talking about like a particular trend of Vedanta, or you could say of yoga, like a school of you could say a school of philosophy, but that comes along with all the theological practices, all the spiritual practices and religious practice. You know, it's a trend that kind of has a history of unfolding in India, now unfolding throughout the world. So you could say, well, I want to look into Christianity, and I want to look into Buddhism, and then I also want to look into the Bhakti movement of India, and I want to study all these different kind of spiritual ways that people practice. So that's one way to speak about Bhakti. But I would say more fundamental to that is that the idea is that within all these spiritual practices, people approach it in different ways. Like some people approach Christianity because they want something from God. They're praying to Jesus. Dear Jesus, please give me the things of this world. Please, I want the birth of healthy children, and I want to have a nice home, and I want health, and I want material well-being, and please give those to me. And other people in the same, church are praying to God for a very different reason. A lot of times they're praying for relief from the sufferings of this world and to find peace. And then you'll also find another trend, again, across all the spectrum of these different spiritual practices, that some people are saying, God, I'm approaching you because there's only one thing I want. I don't want to take anything from you. I don't want you to give me anything. I want to experience you through love. I want just the way that someone loves another person deeply. And when you really love someone, you're not asking anything from them. It's the love itself that drives you. I want to know you and love you in that way. And you'll find that across all the different spiritual traditions that some people practice, and we call that bhakti. That purity of approach of one's motive in spiritual life is that I'm coming just because sometimes we were you brought up a Catholic by chance?
Episcopalian, so Catholic light.
Okay.
Catholic light. Diet Catholic.
But do you know that song Day by Day? Have you heard that?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Day by day.
Raghunath,
Hair
that's my favorite.
soundtrack. One of my
Yeah.
favorites.
So that song, it says, "Oh dear Lord, three things I pray: to see you more clearly, love you more dearly, follow you more nearly." That's an expression of bhakti. So I'm not asking it. All I'm asking, if you say I must ask, you see, our most important text is Srimad Bhagavatam, this huge work that tells many, many stories, and within them, there's a common theme where like someone just through extraordinary behavior, they attract the attention of God, and then God appears to them and expresses their love for that person. And then they say, I love you so much, ask something from me. I want to give something to you. And they always say, I'm not asking anything from you. And they say, no, you must ask something. It's like, well, then all I want is that I never forget you, that I always exist, in thoughts of you and remembrance of you. I don't want to forget you ever. I just want to love you always. That's called bhakti. And so like that song is more or less saying the same thing. This is all I'm asking. So all that being said, within India, there's a very well-developed tradition of bhakti, coming from these ancient texts that go into, it has like an incredibly rich philosophical tradition to explain everything about it. It has a cultural tradition with all kind of beautiful, and you're getting a strong taste of that now, I'm sure. There's a strong cultural tradition wherein there's music, and there's dance, and there's cuisine, and there's architecture, and then there's ritual, and so like there's an extremely well-developed, beautiful culture tradition of bhakti in India. So we can say, what is bhakti? It's the practices of uncovering what's deep inside you, is this love for God that's been covered up, and all the practices associated with that, and the state of consciousness. Just like we say with yoga. Yoga is a practice, but yoga is also like an accomplishment, like a position that you come to. And so bhakti is also like that. I want to come to the point where my consciousness has reached the stage of bhakti, where there's nothing in me but love anymore, and nothing else.
I like that. You know what?
Add to it, Raghu. Add,
I was
share.
like, I don't want to add to it. You know why? Because as soon as you started talking, I was like, I said for dummies, Kaustubha, you're making this too. But the more I just shut up and listened, I was like, you know what? I really like this answer. I think you did a great job. I
hope
think it was
that
a
doesn't mean
thorough
that you're a
job.
dummy.
You are like a jewel, Kaustubha.
Oh,
And if I add, you don't need to add anything to a jewel. You know what I mean?
oh.
I'm just gonna
Generally,
cover
a
the
jewel, when
shine.
the jewel is actually set within a golden ring, then the two complement one another.
Oh, oh,
And you are
that's
that golden
sweetie.
ring.
He is the sweetie pie, isn't he? He's a real sweetie pie.
And you're the whipped cream on top of the pie.
If I had to sum it up in a real for dummies, like a real dum dum. See, even yours was a little. You gotta be a little smart. I'm talking dummies. I say we want to be the center, and bhakti means instead of being the center, we're here to serve the center,
Okay.
and we find more joy from serving the center than trying to be the center, and trying to. We get more joy being givers than takers. How about that? And so we see God as the center, and we don't care what you call God. You can call God Jesus or Jehovah, or we're okay with that. That's still bhakti. But they have a whole specific way they do it in India. It's very, very intricate, and it can be complicated, and it also can be very simple. And like Kaustubha was saying, song, dance, ritual, culture, cuisine, puppet shows, perhaps.
Not the puppet shows.
Yeah, well, they didn't have a very Krishna conscious puppet show today, but it was sort of like a very interesting puppet show. But we also just went into this incredible, the palace of the king. It was just so cool.
Oh, you saw the palace today?
Yeah, we went to the palace today. Yeah.
Saw those big water jugs?
Yep. Yeah, the big lotus of Ganga water. Anyway, does that work for you?
I think it's a good foundation that I can explore more on.
Okay. And, it's totally understandable going into something like this that you would be like, what the hell is going on? Where's the Taj Mahal? Or what, I thought everyone was just going to be doing yoga in the streets, but you're doing pretty good. I think you had a couple breakdowns, but I think you've bounced back higher than before.
I threatened to go home once, and then I called Mukesh, and I was like, Mukesh, you need to find me a Hilton.
But I will say you're doing great. And she did ride a camel, and that's one of those things where like, okay, I can go home now. I rode a camel. We saw an elephant today, maybe two elephants, and yeah, maybe the same elephant twice.
I think it was the same elephant.
But throughout your ups and downs and not understanding, what you were getting into, did you have a highlight of the trip? Was there a part that you like?
I think just being with like everyone and like finding like new teachers and new women in my life that can kind of like guide me on my path.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. There are some very, very wonderful people on this trip, I will say. We have a sweet group. Once again, just a sweet gang here. I'm so happy. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. And thanks for coming up and telling your story. Haribol. Alyssa.
She's doing great.
Who else we got, Miss Mara?
We got Claire.
Claire Rex. Oh, there's time, Miss Claire.
There is time.
This is Claire from, where are you from in England, Claire? Birmingham?
Yorkshire in
No,
England.
Raghunath, not Birmingham.
Bit unlikely to be here, but here I am anyway.
Yeah, interesting. And a very, very wonderful lady. Tell us your story. How did you end up here in Bhakti?
So, never even been to Kirtan before being here. Started listening to the podcast 18 months ago.
And how was that? How did you listen to the podcast?
Saw you on an interview on a thing called Earth Ancients. long before that.
Earth Ancients.
Raghunath,
It
what
was-
was
it was-
Earth Ancients?
Earth Ancients. It wasn't a great interview. No, I mean it was.
It wasn't a great interview.
It wasn't. No, I mean you were great. You were brilliant. The podcast, it's not a brilliant podcast, but it was about Vedic culture, so I was interested, and I saved Wisdom of the Sages, and it probably sat on my phone for a couple of years, and it was the day after I lost my mum. Actually, for some reason, it's like, gonna put that one on from episode 1, and I listened to 10 episodes. I painted our living room, just listened and listened and listened.
Painting.
I know you.
That's so cool.
I
It's
feel
so
like
cool.
I know Raghu and also Mara and you, Kaustubha. Pleasure to meet you, because you've decorated my house with me. You've cleaned cupboards. You've scrubbed
Didn't even know.
floors. You've been swimming with me. We've walked in the wood.
Gone for long drives.
We really have. I've done like 10-mile hikes just so that I could listen
That
to a load
is
of
sweet.
those.
We've
But
done all this together.
we've done all this together, so it would seem remiss of me not to come along. But I have binge watched, and I've been behind on everything. Every time you've recommended a book, it's like, oh yeah, I'll give that a try. I listened to Chanya, spiritual scientist. Yeah,
spiritual
Sharan.
scientist. Great.
So,
Absolutely brilliant.
have you ever caught up to us?
I did catch up to you, but only because you went to 3 days. I was like, as sad as it is, it's like, yes,
I can do this.
I've got a chance.
I'll
can catch
to India,
up.
and I'm
It's
going to
slowing
catch
down.
up before I get there.
Like I got a 15-hour flight or
Yeah,
8-hour flight.
So yeah, I did catch up,
And so how?
here I am.
And what were you? So have you been to a temple ever?
I think it was last year. I was on business in London, and I called it at the ISKCON temple, and it was like, oh, not welcoming at all.
She had a bad another
That's
bad
the
experience.
second
at
day in a
temple.
row we hear that.
Second day in a row, you
Gotta
know,
get their
it
act
happens.
together.
But then you kind of go, and I think they assume everybody knows what they're doing, dipping in, and
It's very intimidating. I find it intimidating going to temple. It's just like, okay, I got to get the courage to walk in to some strange room. I have no idea what I'm getting into, who I'm dealing with.
yeah,
That's why podcasts are very accessible. You're like,
Yeah.
I can listen to this in my car. No one has to be around, and I've sort of like dipped my foot in here.
yeah. But I made the assumption that he would just be like you and Kaustubha.
They just
No,
you thought it'd be me and Kaustubha coming in,
Yeah.
start laughing, singing
Shada.
random songs
Yeah.
at the top of my lungs,
Absolutely.
You know,
pillow
one-
fights.
One of the
Yeah,
good things
so-
about the Bhakti Center is that it has a receptionist there. And so as soon as you walk in, it's like there's a certain sense of normality and friendliness that you immediately get. But a lot of temples are kind of like shut down most of the time, and then you walk in there, and even if you walk in on a Sunday when like everything's happening or something like that, there's still maybe nobody there to greet you and say hello.
Yeah, he kind of went, Hare Krishna, as if I'd done something awful to him. I thought, oh, okay. But, it was fine. Went
Yeah.
upstairs, threw my shoes away because I thought, well, don't know where to put them. Yeah,
Oh, it's all right. So anyway, it didn't quite make sense.
it didn't quite make sense.
Then
but-
what made you sign up for India then?
I've always wanted to come to India, and whilst listening to the podcast, I have just read everything. Suddenly discovered that I had the Science of Self-Realization on my bookshelf, and it's
Go figure.
moved
Yeah,
to 2
look at
houses
that.
with me. I must have been carrying that thing around for decades, and also a little Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Wow.
So I read that. I'm on the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam, but only because had I not listened to the podcast, I would not have made
Sure.
sense of it at all. But it's brilliant having listened to all those episodes. You kind of get to bits. It's like, God, yeah, I remember. Oh, Prahlad, oh, this is so exciting. You couldn't wait to go to bed and like read every night, and started to chant. But I'm a real low level. I've come here and this is so humbling because it's like, how on earth are these people? They must have extra hours in the day to me because I just that
do you
I
do
guess
for-
is what
What do you do for a living yourself?
I'm not a yoga teacher.
Is it personal? Should I not say? Should I not have
I'm
asked
so
that?
sorry. I'm not in the yoga community. That's the other thing I've never done is yoga. I actually work as part of an oversight body for policing, UK policing.
Okay, that's an important role.
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? Yeah.
So what's if you have to pick one or two highlights of the trip?
Dev Prayag and that first, even in fact, even just the chanting by the side of the Ganga was, I was in floods of tears.
Which time was that? You chanted by the Ganga every day.
Well, I know that first time was inexplicable to me because I didn't expect to have that level of monstrously massive breakdown, and everybody was just amazing.
Was that at Dave Prayag?
I think Katie just proper grabbed me, and I just sobbed my heart out. So when I then got in, it was like, poof, didn't expect that at all. and I'll go again just thinking
No,
about
we were chanting Gunga Stotram. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Chanting Gunga Stotram at the confluence
Yeah,
Oh,
of
man.
Bhagirati and Alakananda. Yeah, you did lose it.
I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
more than once. Oh, you see, and it'll happen again.
Yeah.
Release thing
She's been, her heart's been opening. She's pouring out, and we're
Yeah.
glad you're here.
That is
really
wonderful.
like having you.
super, super glad to be here. Super glad. Very grateful.
Okay.
So, what is your question, Art, my dear?
I suppose my question goes along. So at the moment, yeah, I do chant one good round, sometimes for three not quite so good rounds, like, what's for lunch? And thinking, oh, bring yourself back. But, and I walk a lot. And I sometimes, if I'm on my own, I was saying to one of the ladies earlier on, especially if I'm having a really difficult time, 5 minutes from where I live, I can scream and shout into the fields, and I'll go on a windy day and I will sing or I will chant really, really loud. But I don't do more than 4 rounds. Is it okay for me to stay at the level I'm at? If somebody's at this level and this is where I'm at, I love reading, but it's always been a very private thing, sort of me and Krishna and my beads and my books, I suppose. Is it okay to stay at this level? Should I be progressing? I'm very conscious now, I think, that, I don't know. Should I be pushing forward? Should I be aiming for 16 rounds? Is initiation the goal?
Kaustubha, I think I would say do less better. You know what I mean? Instead of going for a japa walk where you're chanting some random number of amounts of rounds, spend 15 quality minutes chanting one great round where every name is a prayer.
Yeah.
And make it like, this is my meditation practice. And I'm not going to move from this seat until this is done with love, with a sincere request for God to enter my life and direct my life, you know. And then if you want to add any other frills to it, do it. But make that your core and just see where it takes you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like the idea of painting and stuff like that, listen to podcasts, playing kirtan, stuff like that. And I think it will become very obvious. Krishna will, once you make that sincere, loud petition of the Lord to enter your life, things will start to shift in your life to create that urgency organically. Kaustubha, what do you think?
I think you're onto something. We're gonna. I'm sorry. Tell me.
Maybe
your name
this time
again.
I'm the diamond.
Your name again.
Maybe this time I'm the jewel.
Okay, the whipped cream. Please tell me your name again. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Sorry?
Your name.
Claire.
Claire. Claire, we should always be progressing. We should absolutely always be progressing. But how we progress, and I think that's what Raghunath's getting at, is not necessarily in stereotypical ways. And so one thing I think is real important, and that I'm sensing from your question and maybe from previous questions as well. Let's talk about 16 rounds and what that's all about, just very briefly, you know. When Srila Prabhupada came to New York, and his first followers, he wanted to initiate them into this practice. They didn't even know what that meant. And he said, now you need to chant 64 rounds a day. And they were just like, what? That will take us all day. Are you kidding me? 64 rounds. There's like, you know, that would roughly take, 8 hours or something like that. How can we do this? You know, and then so he said, okay, let's make it 32. And they're like, 32? He said, okay, 16, that's a minimum. And what that means is that he was kind of creating an institutional kind of standard. It's knowing that he was about to take on hundreds and then thousands of disciples. He wanted there to be and he wasn't going to be there to personally guide every one of them. So he kind of created a bar and said, I'll initiate you when you come up to this bar. And then you take a vow and you stay at that bar. But that's an aspect of the practice and a certain standard set at a certain time for a particular reason. But it's not that once someone's doing that, they've achieved the goal. It's just a standardized practice. And it's something that wouldn't, like if you had just discovered a Bhakti guru living in Vrindavan or somewhere in India or something like that, you know, in a traditional context, they would have just met with you and said, let's see where you're at. Let's see, okay, so one person they're going to advise, walk away from everything. This is the time in life that you should do that. And chant 64 rounds a day and read Bhagavatam the whole rest of the day and don't do anything else, and I'm going to see to it that you get the food that you need and you get the hut to live in and you're going to be just fine. And someone would just walk away from everything. And another person say, oh, stay in your family, take care of your family, but install a deity in your home, make the deity the center of your home, go to work, be responsible socially and in terms of your family, do all of that. And you're going to have time to chant, I think, 8 good rounds a day. That's what I want you to do. I also want you to read Bhagavatam for half an hour a day. And then you do that for some time, and then they would reevaluate that with time. And in this way, they'd be tailoring a bhakti sadhana practice for you. So that's what you need. Whatever it is, that's what you need. And you need it in a way that it's always moving forward, so that that you're always taking that next step. You're always aware of, mastering the step that you're at, going deep, as what Raghunath was saying, do less but do it better. Doing better what you do, and then you'll see that you'll start to want to chant more yourself, and Krishna will change things in your life in ways that you never knew would happen. So we need to find you like a good bhakti sadhana for you to practice. A good amount of japa that you're going to chant. We need to make sure that you're reading and learning, and absorbing yourself in these texts. We need to make sure that you're getting good association somehow or other. Even if you live really isolated, we have our sage groups and things like that now. We need to make sure that you have some time in the holy places. That'll be a huge game changer in your life, and you're doing that right now. So like if there needs to be a little daily ritual in your life, we need to find a way that works for you. And in this way, you take the most potent practices of bhakti and you make them a part of your life wherever you are right now, wherever you're at. And you're not worried that, oh, I'm not chanting 16, so I'm not worthy, I'm bad, that we need to understand that's not, I'm not initiated. We need to understand what these terms mean and how they're coming down. But let's find you a good practice, and let's get you practicing that better and better. And then at a certain point, it's going to come from you. I want to do more. Then we're going to figure out, hey, what's the next thing for Claire?
That's really helpful.
And that never ends. It's not like now I've chanted 16 rounds. Now I'm initiated. Now I'm complete. The cup is full. It's not like that. Where you are now to where you are then to where you are 10 years from there, you'll always fear, how can I add more? How can I refine? How can I polish? Guess what? I've got some great news for you. You want to join the club? You don't have to wait. You're in the club right now.
Woo-hoo.
Okay? Woo!
And I've got some beautiful artwork now.
What's that?
It's cost me a fortune.
What's that?
Beautiful artwork that I've bought since I've been here.
Jaipur has a nice store. What is that place called?
Oh. What have you been buying? I missed that.
Oh, some traditional Krishna Radha painting and
great.
all sorts of stuff.
Beautiful. You're in the club.
Bring it
Thank
down.
you.
Good
You're
news
home with
today.
that.
Really
You'll think
helpful.
more
Thank
about
you.
Krishna.
That's why.
Yeah. Thank you, Claire. We love you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
So nice to
joining
meet
us on
Claire.
this trip. How are we doing for time? Is that it? We started late.
We started a little late, so we could take another.
That's all the questions we have.
We're out of question.
We did so good. Oh, Myra's not here. She's getting her astrological chart read, or what? Maybe taking a nap. We're all wiped out, Kaustubha. I'm sorry.
All right.
That's the show.
That's it.
And
We're not back until
everybody
Tuesday,
else,
huh?
we're not back till the 11th. Where?
That'll be at 6 a.m. Eastern Time.
6 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll be here. Kaustubha will be here. And the mystery assistant with a new name will be here. Maybe.